vaginas. We were worried what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context of other vaginas, a culture, a community of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy surrounding them, like the Bermuda Triangle. No one ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it's not so easy to even find a vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed and she said that she didn't have the time, she was busy. Look at your vagina, she said. It's a full day's work. You have to get down there, in front of your back, in front of the mirror that's standing in front of your face. You have to get in the perfect position. With a pyramid light. So it somehow shadowed by the mirror and the angle you have. You get all twisted up. Your head is arching up. You're exhausted by then. She said she was too busy. She didn't.
So there were vagina interviews, which became the Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, younger women, married women, lesbians, single women, college professors, actors, corporate professionals, sex workers, African American women, Asian American women, Hispanic women, Native American women, Caucasian women, and Jewish women. Okay, at first, they were reluctant to talk. They were a little bit shy, but once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one has ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best, maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring the vagina. Vagina, vagina. And it doesn't matter how many times you say it never sounds like the word you want to say. It's a completely ridiculous, totally unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, could you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We're worried about vaginas. Well, we call them and don't call them.
In Great Neck, New York, they call it a pussycat. A woman there said her mother used to tell her, "Darling, don't wear panties under your pajamas. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Hungary, they call it punci.
Nuni.
Tuni.
In the Philippines, you say pek-pek.
In New York, of the JJ. In Panama, we call it ton-ton. In Georgia, we say cuchu. In Macedonia, tunde. In Chile, chocha, chochita, chochota.
In the Czech Republic, they say
Punani in Malaysia.
in Mexico, we call it nena, pimple.
And Pipka.
Nappy dugout in Minnesota. We were worried about vaginas.
Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories surrounding the same fact. And a few times, a good idea became an outrageous one. This monologue is based on one woman's story, although the subject came up in every interview and was often fraught. The subject being hair.
You cannot love a vagina unless you love her. Many people do not love her. My first and only husband hated her. He said it was cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. When he made love to me, my vagina felt what a beer must feel. It felt good to rub it and painful, like scratching a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red ones. I refused to shave it again, and then my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said that he was run because I wouldn't rest him sexually. The therapist had a German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why don't you want to please your husband sexually? I told her that I thought it was weird. I felt little when my hair was gone there, and I couldn't help with that baby voice, and it was irritated, and even cowing emotion wouldn't help it. She said, marriage is a compromise. I asked her if shaving my vagina would stop him screwing around. I asked her if she had many cases like this. She said, questions diluted the process. I needed to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. This time, when we got home, we went to shave my vagina. It was like a therapy bonus prize. He clipped it a few times, and there was a little blood in the back too. He couldn't even notice it because he was so excited, shaving me. Then, later, when he was pressing against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me, my naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no flaw. I realized then hair is there for one reason. It's a leaf around the flower. It's a load around the house. You must love her in order to love a vagina. You can pick the parts that you want. And besides, my husband never stopped screwing around.
A group of women were asked the following question.
If your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Glasses. A beret. A leather jacket.
Stop stocking.
Mink.
Pink bra.
Male tuxedo. Jeans.
Something form-fitting.
Emerald.
An evening gown.
Citrus. Armani. A tutu.
A see-through black underwear.
Taffeta ball gown.
Something washable.
Costume eyeless.
Purple velvet pajamas.
And Laura.
A red bow. Silk kimono.
Sweat.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels. Lace and combat boots.
A bikini.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down!
Feed me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Start again.
No, over there.
Lick me.
Stay home. Great choice.
Think again?
More, please. Embrace me.
Let's play.
Don't stop. More. More.
Remember me?
Not yet.
Whoa, mama. Yes. Yes.
Rock me?
Enter at your own risk.
I'm here.
Let's go. Let's go.
Find me.
Thank you.
Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's the bridge top?
That's
Yes, there. There.
A group of women between ages of 65 and 75 was interviewed. These interviews were one of the most prominent, possibly because many of these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who is 72 has never ever seen her vagina. She washed herself in a shower and bath, but she never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went to therapy, as they do it in New York, and with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was arthritic, but when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. So this monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it has nothing to do with Eisenhower. It's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you get sick, suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, whew, smells miserable. Gets in your clothes. No, there wasn't an accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't tell you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around asking old ladies about their down there for? We didn't do this kind of a thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus. Okay. There was this boy, Andy Lefkoff. He was cute, well, I thought so. Tall, like me. I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't do this. I can't tell you this. I can't talk about down there. It's like a cellar. There's rumbles down there. You can hear the pipes and things get hot there. Little animals and things. It gets wet and sometimes people have to plug up the leaks. But otherwise, the door stays closed. I mean, you know it's there, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there, though, because every house needs a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Oh, right. Andy Lefkoff. Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we called it in my day. We were out in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seat. I have very long legs. They were all smushed up against the dashboard. I was just looking at my big kneecaps, and he kissed me and surprisingly take me by control like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited. I got so excited. And, well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded right out of me, right through my panties, right onto the seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything at all, but Andy said, that it smelled like sour milk and I was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard. I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the flood up with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word, and when I got out of his car and closed the door, I closed the whole store, locked it. Never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some kind of restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with chandeliers and thousands of waiters with vests. Burt would give me this orchid corsage. I'd pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Burt and I. Laughing, laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail. Huge shrimp. Fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy. Then, he'd look into my eyes, and pull me to him, and just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the whole restaurant would fill with my blood. It would come straight from there. It would pour and pour. There'd be fish inside it, and little boats and things. Brooke would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, sort of past in their tuxedos and drinking at it. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took out just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He told me, you don't use it, you lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. Antiques. What would it wear? What kind of question is that? What would it wear? It'd wear a huge sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being the kind of thing that talks a long time ago. It's a place you don't go, closed up, under the house, down there. You happy? You got it out of me. You made me talk. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better now? Well, actually, you're the first person I ever told about this, and I feel a little better.
The Vagina Workshop.
My vagina is a shell, around, big, tender shell, open, and closing, closing, and opening. My vagina is a flower, in the center of tube, the center of fruit, and deep, the center delicate, the petals gentle, and silky.
I did not always know this. I learned this at the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from a woman who runs the Vagina Workshop. A woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the workshop asked us to draw a picture of her own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know how her own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman was pregnant, drew a big red mouth, screaming with coin spilling out. Another very skinny woman drew a big serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a huge black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were meant to be people or things or just your basic atoms that got lost there. I had always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum randomly sucking up particles and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not think of my vagina in practical biological terms. I did not see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at the vaginas with hand mirrors. We were there. In the workshop, we were asked to look at the vaginas with hand mirrors. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I had never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me in some abstract plane. It seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it like we were in the workshop, with our hand mirrors on our shiny blue mats. I felt like an astronaut. I felt as the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you see a fish cut open and you discover this other bloody complex world inside, right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't speak when it came my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to one of the women who ran the workshop called Vaginal Wonder. I just wanted to lay there on my mat with my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. It reminded me of the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It would hide and see, open, close. Then, the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the workshop had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, but I have had orgasms. I did not raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They happened in my dreams and I would wake in splendor. They happened mostly in water and in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because, although I had had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I thought it was a magical, mystical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived, manipulative. It felt Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I haven't had a magical accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. And that's why I was in the vagina workshop. And then, the moment that I dreaded and longed for had arrived. The women who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, trying to reach our spot, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic. I lay there, on my back, trying to reach with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10, and I loved my gorging in the emerald of the lake, how I kept diving over and over again to the bottom of the lake, running my fingers through stones and slimy stuff and bottle and caps, but never my ring. The panic I felt. I knew I'd be punished. The women who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, "It's gone! It's gone! I've lost my clitoris!" I shouldn't have worn it so much. The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said. The essence of me. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it.
Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back and close my eyes. Up with the mirror down. I watched myself floating above myself. I watched myself as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I bounced, landed, and bounced. I came into my own muscles and blood and cells, and then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy, and I fit. I was all warm and passing and ready and young and alive. And then, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, that drove me to stay. Then the quivering became a quake, an eruption, delays dividing and subdividing. The quake broke open into an ancient horizon of silence and light, which broke open into a plane of music and colors and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue man. My vagina is a shell, a flower, and a destiny. I am arriving as I'm beginning to live. My vagina. My vagina.
Here's the vagina happy fact. This is from A Woman and Intimate Geography by Matthew and Jay.
A happy fact. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body designed purely for pleasure. The clitoris is simply a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers, to be precise. That's a higher concentration of nerve fibers than is found anywhere else in the male or female bodies, including the fingertips, the lips, and the tongue. And it is twice the number found in the penis.
This monologue is based on an interview with a woman who had a good experience with a man. Because she liked to look at it.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with solid rains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my own self. I know all of it. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite. I know the story. Like, if we had grown up in a culture where fat eyes were beautiful, we'd all be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes all day, laying on our backs, spending our days thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs. And I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and for that moment I wished I never had. It made me feel sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. So, in order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons and light velvet comforters, little velvet settees and leopard rugs are pretty things. Silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, or place settings. I got so accustomed to this, I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I pictured him inside a mink-like muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was tall and thin and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. He didn't like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the He didn't show feelings. He didn't have any problems or issues and wasn't an alcoholic. He wasn't very articulate or serious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't feel like Bob. I would have met him altogether if he up my change that I dropped on the deli floor. When he gave me back my quarters and pennies, his hand accidentally touched mine and something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turned out, Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt. He loved the way they tasted. He loved the way they smelled. But most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you. I need to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the lights. Okay, I'm ready, he said. I'm ready to see you. Right here, I waved, right here. Then, he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I need to see you. No need, just do it. I need to see what you look like. But you've seen the red on the couch before, I said. Bob continued. He wouldn't stop. I wanted to throw and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can you just do it? It's who you are, he said. I need to look. I had my breath. Look. He got breath. He didn't look like I am anymore. You're so beautiful. You're so elegant. Deep. Innocent and wild. You're so I said, it was like he was reading my palm. I saw that, he said, and more, much, much more. They looked for almost an hour as he studied your mouth, the moon, staring in my eyes, but it was a vagina. In the light, I watched him look at me and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and I began to see myself. He saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. He wasn't grossed out. He wasn't afraid. I began to swell, began to feel proud. And Bob lost himself there, and I was there with him in my vagina, and we were gone.
This is a not so happy fact found in UNICEF's 2005 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a Statistical Exploration.
This is a not so happy fact. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 130 million girls and young women. In the 28 countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, around 3 million young girls a year can expect a knife, or the razor, or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, this would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal wounds. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased agony and danger during childbirth, and birth.
The Japanese government kidnapped as many as 50,000 to 200,000 young girls from surrounding countries and forced them into sexual slavery during World War II. Today, the surviving comfort women are between 70 and 90 years of age. As they are slowly dying off, their wish is for an official apology from the Japanese government acknowledging what was done to them. Given the 21st century's escalating armed conflicts, the precedent of impunity for wartime sexual violence cannot be tolerated. The experience of the comfort women essentially set the stage for the patterns of systematic rape and sexual violence that continue today in places of armed conflict such as Sudan, Congo, or Iraq, and thus recognizing the human rights atrocity committed against women during World War II is paramount. In July 2007, V-Day witnessed a huge victory when our efforts, in conjunction with many others, resulted in the US House of Representatives passing a formal resolution calling for an apology from Japan, which has not been granted yet. Say it for the comfort women.
Our stories only exist inside our heads, inside our ravaged bodies, inside a time and space of war and emptiness. There is no paper trail, nothing official in the books, only conscience, only this. What we were promised, that I would save my father if I went with him, that I would find a job, that I would serve the country. They would kill me if I didn't go. It was better there. What we found, no mountains, no trees, no water, yellow sand, a desert, a warehouse full of tears, thousands of worried girls, my braid cut against my will. No time to wear pants. What we were forced to do, change our names, wear one-piece dresses with a button that opened easily. 50 Japanese soldiers a day. Sometimes there would be a ship of them. Strange, barbaric things. Do it even when we bleed. Do it young before we started bleeding. There were so many. Some wouldn't take off their clothes, just took out their penis. So many men I couldn't walk. I couldn't stretch my legs. couldn't, Ben. I couldn't. What they did to us over and over, cursed, spanked, twisted, tore bloody inside out, sterilized, drugged, slapped, punched. What we saw, a girl drinking chemicals in the bathroom, a girl killed by a bomb, a girl beaten with a rifle over and over, a girl's malnourished body dumped in the river to drown. What we weren't allowed to do: wash ourselves, move around, go to the doctor, use a condom, run away, keep my baby, ask him to stop. What we caught: malaria, syphilis, gonorrhea, stillbirth, tuberculosis, heart disease, nervous breakdowns, hypochondria. What we were fed: rice, miso soup, turnip pickle, rice, miso soup, turnip pickle, rice, rice, rice. What we became: ruined, tools, infertile, holes, bloody, meat, exiled, silent, alone. What we were left with: nothing. A shocked father who never recovered and died. No wages, scars, hatred of men, no children, no house. A space where a uterus once was. Booze, smoking, guilt, shame. What we got called: Eon Fu Comfort Women. Should we offer women a few decent occupation? What we felt: my chest still trembles. What got taken? The springtime. My life. What we are: 74, 79, 84, 93. Blind, slow, ready. Outside the Japanese embassy every Wednesday, no longer afraid. What we want now, soon, before we are gone, and our stories leave this world, leave our heads. Japanese government, say it, please. We are sorry, comfort women. Say it to me. We are sorry, to me. We are sorry, to me. To me, to me, to me. Say it. Say sorry. Say we are sorry. Say me. See me. Say it. Sorry.
My vagina is angry. That's right, it's pissed off. My vagina is pissed off, and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. All this shit, they're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away, it's staying right here. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there thinking up ways to torture my poor-ass, gentle, loving vagina? Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy? Vagina motherfuckers. Like tampons. What the hell is that? A dry wad of fucking cotton sucked up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says forget it. It closes up. You need it to work with the vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You need to work with my vagina, convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry water fucking cotton! Stop shoving things up me! Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe them when they tell you, it smells like rose petals, when it's supposed to smell like pussy! That's what they're doing. They're trying to clean it up, make it smell like a bathroom spray or all those douche sprays. Floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain! All cleaned up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. Then there's those exams. Don't you hate that? There's got to be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches at your tits and scrunches up so you feel like a wad of paper's all over your way? Why the rubber gloves? Why the flashlight all up there like Nancy working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups? Why the mean, cold duck lips they shove inside you? My vagina is angry about those visits! It gets defensive weeks in advance. It won't leave the house. And then you get there. Don't you love that? Scoot down. Relax your vagina. Why? So you can shove those mean cold duck lips inside it? I don't think so! Why can't they find some nice, delicious purple velvet and wrap it around me? Lay me down on some feathery cotton spread. Put my feet in some fur-covered stirrups. Find some friendly pink or blue gloves. Warm up the duck lips. Work with my vagina. More dry water fucking cotton, mean cold duck lips, and fun underwear. Fun underwear. Look that up. That is the worst. Moves around all the time, gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt. Vagina is supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. No, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, why don't they make some nice, comfortable, soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in? Women will be coming all day long! Coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas! They wouldn't be able to stand it, seeing all those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas. If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk to other vaginas like me. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear hairy ones and diamonds. No clothing, just there, all draped in diamonds. My vagina helped to release a giant baby. It thought it would be doing more of that. It's not. Now it wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read and know things and get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for death. It wants kindness and change and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It vagina! My vagina! Well, it wants everything. Bosnian women refugees were interviewed during the war in Yugoslavia in refugee camps and centers. 20 to 70,000 women were raped in the middle of Europe as a systematic tactic of war. This was shocking to see how little people did to stop it. But then again, in the United States, each year, about 200,000 women are raped, which is another kind of war. This monologue is based on one woman's story. We do it tonight for that woman and extraordinary women from Bosnia and Kosovo.
The vagina was green, water soft pink field, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend touching lightly with a soft piece of black straw. There was something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since. The vagina was chatty, can't wait, so much saying, words talking, can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes.
Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal soaking down there with a blanket fishing line. In the bed, that animal smell cannot be removed. And its throat is sweet, and it gleams through all the summer fesses.
The vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs. Vagina songs. Vagina home songs. Not since they put a long, thick rifle inside me.
So cold, the steel rope cancer in my heart.
Don't know if they're gonna fire it or show it to my spinning brain. 6 of them, monstrous doctors with black masks shoving bottles at me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom. My vagina, swimming river water, clean spilling water over sun-baked stones over stone wood. Clit stones over and over. Not since I heard the skin tear and made lemon screeching sounds. Not since a part of my vagina came off in my hand. A part of the lip. Now one part of the lip is completely gone. My vagina, a live wet water village. My vagina, my hometown. Not since they took turns for 7 days. For 7 days! Smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus. And all the crops died. And the fish. My vagina, a live white water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know.
In the Congo, an economic war has been fought for the last 13 years by mainly outside militias who are hungry for Congo's vast mineral resources. These minerals make their way into the hands of Western corporations and ultimately our electronics. World leaders and international bodies stand by, knowing what is happening but failing to act. The war in Congo is the deadliest conflict since World War II. Close to 6 million people have been killed. Millions have been displaced. The atrocities being perpetrated against women and girls in the Democratic Republic of Congo are nothing less than a femicide, the systematic destruction of the female population. Advocates on the ground approximate that 500,000 women and girls have been raped and sexually abused. The monologue you're about to hear was written by Eve after one of her many visits to Congo and has been released this month in her earliest book, I Am an Emotional Creature, The Secret Life of Girls Around the World. Like the Vagina Monologues, it will be a vehicle for young girls to get activated and engaged through V-Girls, the next escalation of the V-Day movement. A teenage girl's guide to surviving sex slavery. Bukavu, Democratic Republic of Congo.
I live in Bukavu, the Democratic Republic of Congo, but I think this guide applies to any girl anywhere in the world. People ask me all the time how I survived. It's not that I was smarter or even stronger than anyone else. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was just something inside me just couldn't go along. My friends, they got taken at the same time as me. I don't think we'll ever get them back. Rule 1, get over that girl thing, this can't be happening to me. When it happens, and trust me, it happens to thousands of us, you will not believe it. You'll think these are just crazy soldiers fooling around. They must be bored or something. They couldn't be hurting me, grabbing my arms and legs all rough like this, throwing me into their truck. Your brain will start telling you things. These are soldiers from my own country. They're here to protect me. They know better than this. This will be confusing. It'll make you feel stupid. It'll make you feel like what is happening is not really happening. It'll make you feel like you did something wrong. I watched my best friends, Alisa, Esther, and Swati. We were on a holiday. We were taking the boat together from Bukavu to Goma. We're just joking around a lot on the lake, Lake Kivu. It's a really huge lake. It takes 5 hours to cross it. We're just drinking Fantas and making fun of Esther's big crazy hair. We went shopping and Swati bought these cool gold shoes. I remember thinking I wanted them too, but I didn't want her to think I was copying her. As we walked out the store and down the street, it just didn't seem real. We're just shopping and now these crazy soldiers? That's why they didn't run. I wanted to run, but I didn't want to leave my friends. When we tried to refuse, that's when we got how serious it was. One of the soldiers, the real big one, started beating Alisa and she was screaming. All my friends were crying and screaming. I got very quiet. That's what I do. I wasn't going to let those soldiers know anything. Rule 2, never look at him when he's raping you. He will call your name in that grating, craving voice. He will beg you to look. He will turn your head with his big, rough, dirty hands. Never move your eyes to his. Close them if you have to. He's nothing. He isn't even there. He's a teeny, tiny, meaningless speck. He doesn't even exist. Rule 3, build a hole inside yourself and climb into it. He will be on top of you. He will be old enough to be your father. He will hold his hand over your mouth. You are a virgin. You are only 15. He will remind you that no one is coming. Imagine you're dancing. Think of your favorite song. Remember your mother braiding your hair. Feel her kindly, roughly braiding hands. Hear her calling your name. Marta, Marta. Rule 4, never ever open any door to him. Reject the food he brings you. Refuse to eat his stupid fish, spit on it. Tell him your family would never eat food out of the water. When in public, he'll want you to smile and act like a proper wife. Even though he's married to someone else, never smile. Roll on the ground in the ugly, expensive tailor-made pañe he brings you. Never laugh at his jokes. He will be shoving himself into you. He will do this 2 or 3 times a day. It will not hurt after the first 20 times. Your insides will no longer belong to you. Sometimes he will wear cologne. Beware. That smell will make you sympathetic. Do not give way to it. You'll begin to feel something for him. It's natural after 6 months. It has nothing to do with Claude. By the way, never use his name. Only refer to him as him or you. You move over. You leave me alone. Rule 5. His sadness is none of your business. Sometimes he will seem so sad, all the bad things he has seen and done. You'll feel bad for him. You have been his slave for almost 2 years now. You will feel everything he feels and doesn't feel. You will start to think that there is no one else. This is your life. He will be the only person who ever loves you. When you start vomiting one morning, you will be sure he poisoned you. Then it will pass and it will happen again, and slowly you'll realize that you're pregnant with his baby. He'll tell you that if you even think of aborting it, he will kill you. Refuse to take care of his baby. Rule 6. It doesn't matter if you get caught. Better die trying to be free. When the opportunity reveals itself, flee. Count on miracles. When you run, you will take your baby because deep down you will know that she's yours. You'll take her clothes and nothing else. You will start to run and your legs will be strong like a strong person's legs, and you will think clearer and better than you have ever thought before. And you will hear your mother calling, "Marta, run!" And you will make the bus at the exact right moment, and you will not look out the window because you will know that the 4 bodyguards who have watched you like a hawk for the last 2 years are already there, but you are in your hole and no one can see you. And you will hide with your baby inside a wall in your cousin's house, the place you would have stayed on your holiday, and Claude will come with the 4 other soldiers and they will search and destroy everything, but your baby will not cry and you will be invisible. And the next day, you will make it to the boat as it is pulling out from the shore. And you will not be breathing. You'll see him and the other men on the dock asking and looking for you, and someone will point to the boat, and you'll know he's found you, even though you're deep inside your hole. And the captain of the boat will suddenly be standing next to you, and he will ask you one single question. How old are you? And then you will talk as if it is the first time you've talked, and you will be surprised at how loud and crazy your voice sounds. And you will say things like, "I'm 17. He took me when I was 15. He raped me every day, 3 times a day. He gave me diseases and made me pregnant. If you turn this boat back, I will throw myself into the lake. I will drown myself. I will be okay dead as long as I never have to see him again. And I will take my baby with me." At that moment, the captain will put one hand on your shoulder. And you'll see a light in his eyes that he will identify as pity, and he will not turn back. Rule 7. Do not feel guilty about how happy you feel when you hear he's dead. After 6 months, back at home in your beloved Bukavu, you will run into the 2 soldiers from the camp, and they'll tell you, they'll be surprised how well you look, and they say that Claude got killed. And at that moment, you will say, "God did something good." And milk will pour into your breasts, and you will love your baby. I went on a vacation for 2 days. I didn't come back for 2 years. Rule 8. No one can take anything from you if you do not give it to them.
In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not as sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For most of these women, home is a very scary place, the place they have fled. The shelters are ironically the first places many of them have ever found safety, comfort, and protection. This is a woman's story as she told it. What is not in the story is the fact that this woman met another woman in a shelter, and they fell in love. And through their love, they both got out of the shelter system. The little coochie snoocher, that's good.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my Gucci snorter. I become terrified that I've scratched it up down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid the water is getting in and filling me up so I explode. I put band-aids over my Gucci to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water.
I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug to prevent things from entering. I sit with 3 pairs of happy heart cotton underpants underneath my snuggle pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, whose pen gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't eat. My mom asks me, what's wrong with my Gucci snorcher? And when I tell her what Edgar did, she yells at me and tells me never to let anyone touch my Gucci snorcher ever again. I try to explain, didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling, and I impale my Gucci snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my Gucci snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital and they're sewed up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house and he's having a party. Everybody's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement and I'm trying on my new cotton white bra and panties that my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man Alfred, comes up from behind me and pulls my new underpants down, stick his big hard penis into my Gucci snorcher. I scream, I kick! I try to fight him off, but it's too late. He gets it in. My father's there and he has a gun. There's lots of blood everywhere. Lots of blood over Alfred and me. I'm sure my Gucci snorcher is falling out. Alfred is paralyzed for life and my mom doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My Gucci snorcher is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, of nastiness, punching, invasion of blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs and I'm traveling way far, far away. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood and I stare at her all the time. One day, she invites me to her car. She asked me if I like to kiss boys and I said, of course not, I don't do things like that. Then she says she wants to show me something and she leans over and kisses me slightly on the lips with her lips and she puts her tongue into my mouth and wow! She asked me if I want to come over to her house and then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it. She lets her tongue feel it. She asked my mom if I can spend the night at her place, and my mother's so delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm here and I can't wait. Her apartment is fantastic. She's got it all hooked up. It's the 70s. The bed, the beads, the fluffy pillows, the mood. I decide right there that I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes herself a vodka and she asks me what I want to drink. I say the same as she's drinking. And she says, she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka. And I say, my mama wouldn't like me kissing girls either. And the pretty lady takes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought bull daggers were ugly. I say, you look great. She says, so? I say, but I only have this white cotton bra and underpants. Then she dresses me slowly into another satin teddy. It's lavender like the first days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head and I'm loose and ready. There's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. She gently and slowly lays me out on the bed and just her body's rubbing makes me come. Then she does everything to me and to my Gucci snorcher that I always felt was nasty before. And wow! I'm so hot, so wild, she says. Your vagina, untouched by men, smells so nice, so fresh. I just wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild on the phone rings. Of course, it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy and I try to act normal when I get to the phone and she asks me, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, Mama, exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around boys. And the lady tells her, oh, trust me. Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie snorcher. She makes me play with myself in front of her and tells me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure so I never have to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm worried I've become a bit butchy because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realized later that she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorcher and raised it into a kind of heaven.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama tells me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie soldier. I become terrified that I've scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I'm afraid of the water getting in and filling me up so I explode. I put band-aids over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper, a bathtub plug up there to prevent things from entering me. I sleep with 3 pairs of happy heart-patterned cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I lymphome, I can't pee. My mama asks me what's wrong with my coochie snorcher. And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says never to let anyone touch me down there again. I try to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling, and impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital, and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house, and he's having a party upstairs. Everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement, and I'm trying on my new cotton white bra and panties that my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, my father's best friend, this big man, Alfred, comes up from behind and pulls my new underpants down and sticks his big hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets it in. My father's there then, and he has a gun, and there's a loud, horrible noise, and then there's blood all over Alfred and me, lots of blood. I'm sure my coochie snorcher is finally falling out. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. A place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a sight for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs, and I'm traveling, going far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in our neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day she invites me into her car. She asks me if I like to kiss boys, and I tell her I do not like that. Then she says she wants to show me something, and she leans over and kisses me so softly on the lips with her lips, and then puts her tongue in my mouth. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over to her house, and then she kisses me again and tells me to relax, to feel it, to let our tongues feel it. She asks my mama if I can spend the night, and my mother's delighted that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, and I can't wait. Her apartment's fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s, the beats, the fluffy pillows, the moonlights. I decide right there that I want to be a secretary like her when I grow up. She makes a vodka for herself, and then she asks what I want to drink. I say the same as she's having. And she says she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka. I say, well, She probably wouldn't let me kiss a ghost either. And then it really makes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She's so beautiful. I always thought bootleggers were ugly. I say, you look great, and she says, so do you. I say, but I only have this white cotton bra and underpants. Then she dresses me slowly in another satin teddy. It's lavender like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head, and I'm loose and ready. There's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge apple. She gently and slowly lays me out in the bed, and just our bodies rubbing makes me come. Then she does everything to me and my coochie structure that I always thought was nasty before. And wow, I'm so hot, so wow. She says, your vagina, untouched by men, smells so nice, so fresh. Wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild, and then the phone rings, and of course it's my mama. I'm sure she knows, she catches me at everything. I'm breathing so heavy, and I try to act normal when I get on the phone, and she asks me, what's wrong with you? Have you been running? I say, no, mama, exercising. And she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around boys, and the lady tells her, trust me, there's no boys around here. The gorgeous lady teaches me everything about my coochie smoker. She makes me play with myself in front of her, and she teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She's very thorough. She tells me to always know how to give myself pleasure, so I'll never need to rely on a man. In the morning, I am worried that I've become a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. I realize later, she was my surprising, unexpected, and politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie smoker and raised it into a kind of heaven.
We've created a map of vagina-friendly cities. Welcome Budapest! There are wild wolf vaginas in Pittsburgh. In fact, a woman from Pittsburgh was obsessed about a particular word, a pejorative word that used to describe a vagina. Her mission was to reclaim the word. Reclaiming cunt.
I call it cunt. I've reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Don't be shy. Listen to it. Cunt. C, ca, cavern, cackle, clit, cute, come, closed, C, closed, inside, ca, then you, then Q, then curvy, inviting, shark skin you, uniform under, up, urge, you, then N, then cun. Snug letters fitting perfectly together, N. Nest, now, next, nice, always depth, always round in uppercase, cun. N. A jagged, wicked electrical pulse, then warm, N. Soft, N. Cun. Then T. Then sharp and certain, tangy teeth, texture, take, tight, tantalizing, tensing, taste, tendrils, time, tell me, cunt,
A 6-year-old girl was asked,
If Vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
Red high tops and a net skirt worn backwards.
If it could speak, what would it say?
It would say words that begin with V and T. Total and violin are the examples.
What does your vagina remind you of?
A pretty dark peach or a diamond that I found from a treasure, and it's mine.
deep inside, it has a really, really smart brain.
What does it smell like?
Snowflakes. Sex workers have reached compelling, complex relationship with their vaginas. This particular woman blows my mind. She does sex work, but only with women. A woman who did vaginas happy.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as two separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not always start out like this. No, to the contrary, I started as a lawyer. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. There was nothing like this in tax law. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved. I got very good at it. Kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it, and it was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women, lace and silk and leather. And I used props. Whips, handcuffs, ropes, dildos. There was nothing like this in law. There was no excitement, there were no props, and I hated those blue corporate suits. Although I wear them from time to time in my new line of work, and there were no props in corporate law, no wetness, no dark, mysterious foreplay, no excitement, no erect nipples, but mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. When I was little, I used to go to the movies and see women making love, making strange orgasmic noises, and I used to laugh. I got strangely hysterical. I couldn't believe that these big, outrageous, ungoverned sounds like that were coming out of women. I longed to moan. I practiced in front of my mirror, on a tape recorder, moaning in various tones, various keys. But always, when I played it back, it sounded fake. It was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really, only my desire to be sexual. But then, when I was 10, I had to pee really badly once, on a car trip. It went on for almost an hour, and when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting, I moaned. I moaned as I peed. I couldn't believe it, me moaning in a Texaco station in the middle of Louisiana. I realized then that moaning was connected with not saying what you want, with putting things off. I realized that moans were best when they came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you. It was a part that was speaking its own language. I realized that moans were in fact that language. So I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Well, frankly, it terrified them. I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose focus and then they'd lose everything. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. And I had a reputation in my building and people stared at me with contempt in the elevator. Men thought I was too intense. Some called me insane. I got ashamed of my moans and I became quiet and polite. I learned to hold in my moans and make noise into a pillow. I learned to choke back my moans and hold them in like a sneeze. I started getting headaches and stress-related disorders. I was becoming hopeless when I discovered women. I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got by other women moaning when I was responsible for other women moaning. I made love to quiet women and I found this place inside them and they shocked themselves into moaning. I made love to moaners and found a deeper, more penetrating moan. It was like a kind of surgery, a delicate science, finding the right tempo, the right location, the home of the moan. That's what I called it. Sometimes I would find it over a woman's jeans. Sometimes I snuck up on it, quietly disarming the surrounding alarms off the record, moving in. Sometimes I used force, but not violent, oppressive force, more like dominating, I'm going to take you someplace nice. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Sometimes it was simply mundane. I had found the moan before things even got started. While we were eating salad or chicken, just casual, just right there, with my fingers. Here it is, like that. Just real simple in the kitchen, all mixed in with balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I used props. I love props. Sometimes I made the woman find her own moan right in front of me. I waited, stuck it out, till she opened herself. I wasn't fooled by the minor, more obvious moans. No. I pushed her further, all the way into her power moan. There's the clit moan. There's the vaginal moan. There's the combo clit vaginal moan. There's the almost moan. There's the right moan. Right. There's the elegant moan. There's the gray slick moan. There's the Karapeshi moan. There's the African American moan. Oh, shit! The Irish Catholic moan. There's the mountaintop moan. There's the baby moan. The doggy moan. The uninhibited militant bisexual moan. The machine gun moan. Zen moan. There's the diva moan. There's the CEU moan. I should be There's the surprise triple orgasm moan.
was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas then. She's in deep worship now. I was there in the room.
I was there when her vagina opened. We were all there, her mother, her husband, and I. And the nurse from Ukraine, with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove, as she talked casually to us, like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there in the room when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak out of her pores. And still there after hours, when she just screamed, suddenly wild, her arms striking at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny child stuck inside, waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. Saw the bruised broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the dark, the blood like perspiration along the edges, the yellow, the white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing out all the holes, pushing harder and harder. Saw through the hole the baby's head, scratches of black hair. Saw it just there behind the bone, a hard round memory, as the nurse from Ukraine kept turning and turning her slippery hand. I was there, and each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing, and her husband sternly counting, 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of the place. We forget the vagina. What else would explain our lack of awe, our lack of reverence? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons, and there, as her vagina became a wide operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First the little head, then the gray flopping arms, then the fast swimming body, swing quickly into her weeping arms. I was there later when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her all spread, completely exposed, mutilated, swollen, torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hands as he was calmly sewing her. I stood, and her vagina became a wide, red, pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in, expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us, die for us and bleed for us, and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
Pun intended. Right, so on behalf of the Student Union and the Human Rights Initiative, I'd like to thank you. Thank you primarily, the production, for putting all this together, for the many rehearsals that went on for hours. Thank you to the other members of the production that you don't see on stage, but also thank you to the two professors, Nora Steger and Professor Petrovar, for joining us. ribbon guys, the guys that gave you white ribbons at the entrance, which basically is a campaign for men raising awareness to stop violence against women, which is what this is. For coming tonight, but also for all of your donations while we had our table in the Octagon, for all the donations you made tonight, for all the donations that you may want to donate after this is over. Our charts are still there, and all the donations that you may want to make at the boutique bar where we're moving after this for an after party. Maps at the back of your programs. Where 200% of all the vagina cocktail, of each cocktail, each vagina cocktail goes to our cause. And the cause, 10% of all the donations we've raised will go to the leaflet you have inside your program, which is building the city of joy. So it goes to the women and girls of the Democratic Republic of Congo to build this shelter for victims of sexual violence. 90%, however, will go to the Astor Foundation and Center, and tonight we'll have the director of the foundation and head of the center, Georgi Viraj, who I would like to invite to tell us a few things.
Dear friends, I'm in a real trouble because it's very difficult for me at least to tell anything after this gorgeous performance. And to be honest, I was afraid and suspicious about it in advance, so I wrote some lines, even some thoughts, but I think I wouldn't penalize you with reading that. So in a nutshell, I would like to express that I'm very proud that Hungary is one of the 130 countries which celebrate V-Days, and very proud to be here and very much appreciate and honor that Astor Foundation has been chosen by the Student Union of CEU in this year to support. Some very short words about us. The name of the foundation and the center is at least for me, a beautiful female name with some biblical connotation, but on the other hand, it's an acronym in Hungarian for rehabilitation of the victims of violent sexual abuse. This is the first and only, unfortunately, still the only organization in this country which specially aims at helping the survivors of child sexual abuse and sexual assault. The foundation was established in 1991, and it has run its center, which is a small psychotherapeutical center since 1994. We have seen hundreds of children and hundreds of women there, and try to ensure for them short-term counseling or long-term psychotherapy. In the last year, we also do employ a lawyer who can give some legal aid if it needs. Well, I guess I don't seem to be a woman, and the question can be raised, and it was frequently done, especially at the beginning when we started in the staff. How the hell a man get involved in the business, or to put in a more euphemistic way, why and how a man did get involved in victim support activity, which helps abused and violated women, where the perpetrator, as a rule, is a man. The answer, I guess, it's very simple, and this answer is the defenselessness. The most painful human experience, I guess, is defenselessness. To be more precise, it's the most inhuman human experience. And that is the essential of rape and child sexual abuse. You are defenseless, you are helpless, you are there exposed and at the mercy of somebody who doesn't love you, who doesn't even take any care of you, who is only about his pleasure, who is doing what he's doing only for his sake, and you even don't know whether it will ever finish, and you even don't know whether you will survive it. The child sexual abuse and the rape is a seriously traumatizing experience, and the one who suffered it died in a way, even if she survived it. That's why we are there, that's why I joined to this activity, because I hate defenselessness. And I again express many thanks personally and on behalf of my colleagues and on behalf of those children and women who come to our center for some help. So thank you very much for supporting us, and thank you very much especially for those who participated in this performance, either on the scene or behind the scenes. And thank you very much, all of you, that you came here and support us.
All right, this is the end. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you at the boutique bar. Donation jars outside. At the after party, you'll see a menu with a list of cocktails with vagina-themed names. Those cocktails add to the proceeds. So those are the ones basically that you should be drinking. The more you drink, the more you donate. Yeah.